Hello there, party. Whoa. Hello there, party people. I haven't been on a while because, guess what? I had lost some power. I mean, it was crazy for us. For the first, day, it was, insane. It was like, what? That's not so, right? I was like, whoa. This is crazy. Because what happened was, okay, let me get the stupid camera running. That's so annoying. There's a buzz on my end, but apparently it's not on the, outgoing end. So for some reason, it's like, what? How is it not on the outgoing end? But it's not. So there we go, buzz is gone. It's like a, not even a buzz, it's like a tip. It's like a tit. Anyway. Oh, why does I? Then on my, I did it in OBS, I did it in Streamlabs, it's doing it now in, Prism. It's weird. I'm like, what is going on? You can make it look like my thumb is coming off. I can make it look like my thumb is coming off. Yeah, like that. Nice. Get it running now. Please run! What the freaking heck, man? So dumb. No, up there. So let me just get the camera running for a second here. Get the camera running. Give me a second here. Ha, there we go. Oh, turn this on. Nice. Okay, cool. So, what happened was, there was a humongous, it was a crazy ice storm. There's still people who have no power. And it's weird because some people have power, but not, like, phone or Wi-Fi. Like, I have a friend who has no Wi-Fi. And I'm just like, whoa. And random things here and there, and little things like, I don't know if my church ran out of electricity, but my old church ran out of electricity. Like, literally, they were getting ready to do it. They had to get ready, 2 hours in advance from Good Friday yesterday. And so what happened was, they were like, well, it was 3 minutes, really, before they were supposed to start getting ready. It was like, well, I mean, just like, all right. So 3 minutes before they started ready, they had lost power. They still had no power. It was like, oh well. Right? So they ran out of power. Like, well, we're done. We're just not starting anything. 3 minutes later, power goes up. They start it all, and it's good. It's crazy stuff. Apparently, I did internet because they live streamed it, so I had internet. But other people didn't have internet. It's weird. And some of the problems with the internet was, oh God, what the hell is going on here? Like, why is it doing this? I can't get out of this now. Weird. Anyway, it's a bunch of this. Yeah, so it's just weird. And in pockets of places are getting their power back. It's weird. It's almost as if they're doing them individually. Not. You're doing it section by section rather than grid by grid. If that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain it, but it's weird. So we lost power for 3 days, 2 days, 2 days. No, 2.5 days, something like that. 2.5 days. Wednesday at I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 6, somewhere around there. To no, not sorry. Oh yeah, to maybe 10. I want to say, and until yesterday at maybe 2 o'clock, or maybe 3 o'clock. So almost 3 days, almost 48 hours. Yeah, not 2 days, almost 3 days, or 2 days. Sorry, almost 2 days. So, and without it, it really showed me. At least I always felt like, wow, I really don't know what I'm prioritizing here. If I think this is so much important, you lose. That's where it shows.
So there's a
So yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I didn't do any. There's 2 times everyone's like, well, you should have gotten your stuff together. One was in 2020 to 2021, so the whole year of 2020, we were basically in the pandemic, where it's like you should have had a side hustle by now. It's like fair enough, but some people just didn't, and some people aren't capable of doing that, and some people, what anyway. But then other people are like, another time is like the other time is when when you get a power outage, and then you're like, oh, you should read all the books ever. You should go out and meet your friends. You should go and do this, go and do that. And it's like, yeah, but no, some people are not that way. Also, some people are just like, in weird situations like that, it's like, oh, what is that there? I never noticed that before, I don't think. Well, anyway. Some people are like, nope, don't care. They'll stay in their house. Like, the people who are like, I don't know. It's just weird. Still. It's just strange. But anyway, to me, it's kind of like, well, go do something with your life. Like, I should have done something with my life. I realize now, like, so the next time it happens, I'm going to do something with my life. I'm going to go do something. What do you, of course I'm going to go do something. I'm going to meet some new person, I'm sure. Watch me. Oh! Why is it hi-oh? I'm terrible at writing. I'll, like, hit another key when writing. Oh, probably there. F, I think. For full screen? Is that what I did? Yes. Okay. And I hope that somebody comes so you're not talking to nobody and I'm going out of my mind. But anyway. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Let me just see if any of my friends are... Any of the people I'm following are live. Nobody. Alright, nobody I'm following this live. That's fine. It's fine. What was I just saying? Yeah, so... That was the weird thing. And the power out, and then, like... It was just long enough also for people to lose, like, lots of food in their fridge. So, everybody to lose their food in their fridge. Lots of people to lose their food in their fridge. It's like, oh, that's annoying. Which it is. It's very annoying. It's like, oh, no. So I talked to, what was it, 2 people? 1 or 2 people? That just, we threw it all away. Like, we literally just chucked it in the bin. Because, it went warm and stale and bad and yuck. Also, it kind of shows that, like, in this day and age, we don't have a way to get back on power faster. Like, what the heck? Because we have these tiny, slow increments of, like, well, we're incrementally making it better so that, like, it happens less and less, but it doesn't not happen. And when it happens, like, big, if there's a big, like, boom, then it's like, whatever. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But, like, or it's hard to, like, it's weird. Also, in Montreal, there was a ice storm in '98, right? That was the biggest thing. It's crazy. It was actually scary. People, I'm not sure if they died per se, but people, whatever. Bad stuff happened. Freezing. It was all just bad. But for some reason, 25 years later, nothing. Like, we're not. At least, why did it take this long for some people to get their power back? That's what people were saying. It's like, what's going on? Why? What's going on? Why are we, like, not having our power back? Why? What's going on? Who's doing what? Why? Who? What? When? What? Where? What? It's weird, okay? I'm not saying it's horrible. But I'm just saying it's weird. It is. What? Switch sound? No, I don't want sound. I mean, my camera. Is my camera on? Yes, I hear. Is my camera on? No, it's not. Now my camera's on. And I'm going to put a blur, or where am I putting this one behind? Oh, there's new ones. Okay, custom. Oh, I can custom. Can I custom, or I have to have Nitro? So I'm looking at my Streamlabs. No, sorry, my Discord. That's new. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, turn it on. Turn on camera. I can turn on camera, right? And have it on, and I have also this on. Right? Yes. Okay, cool. Or maybe I'll just go deep. What am I gonna... Oh, don't tell me you can't be using twice. Probably one of those things. Oh, that's why. Vidbox. Which one do I use? This one. Can I not use it and have... Can I not be using the camera in 2 different applications? Is that what's going on? Great. That's stupid. Okay, fine, I don't care. I don't care. But yeah, what was I saying? So people are like, well, why is it? Why are we still terrible at what we do? Why are we still awful? It's like, we're not awful. Like, what do you, we're not awful. What do you mean we're awful? It's like, no. I understand what they mean by that, though. I understand what they mean when they say that. It's like, no. How are we this bad at being, like, getting it better? Also, we think we're so, we've evolved or we've whatever, so far, like, above no. For some reason, no. We're still terrible. It takes a while. Whatever. I don't know. It's just weird. So that was my last 3 days? 2.5, 2 days. 2 days. Or it isn't really that long for me, but there are still people that don't have power, and there's still people who don't have, like, internet and stuff. And then also you don't realize how much stuff is on the internet, right? Or, yeah, how much we get our information from our internets because, you have a group on Facebook that talks about stuff, or you have your work group that's on the internet, or your job is on the internet, or whatever, right? Your job uses the internet, or whatever, right? Where it's like, oh my god, it's so like, wow. I just realized, I'm like, because right before I had gotten off, okay, so what happened was my young adults group was supposed to, we usually meet on a Wednesday night, right? At my old church. And my friend, and well, the leader of it, which is the head pastor of that church, was like, we might not have something next week because it's, the week of Easter. And so we're like, okay, what, maybe not something. So I didn't know, nobody told me anything. And so my friend usually gets the information, because I'm not on Facebook, and I'm never going to get on Facebook. I don't care to be on Facebook. I'm sorry. I'm not. Why would I get on Facebook at this day and age? That's my question. Why would I get on Facebook in this day and age? There's no point. Get onto a better application. I'm with a group of people at a Arab church. Now, it's just Arab in, like, culture, it's not an Arabic church, and it's not Muslim in any way. It's a church. It's a Christian. But they're on WhatsApp. And I'm like, there you go. Why don't we just get... And the next time I see them, I should be like, we should switch on to WhatsApp. I keep forgetting to say that. Because, like, man. But even just get on, like, Instagram or something. Because that's my friend's... It's the one I get my information from. On this group chat on Facebook. Where it's like... He was like... I said, what's the solution? He goes, Instagram. You get a group chat on Instagram, and everyone can use Instagram. It's way more of a kid's version. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah. Yeah. But that's the problem. Everybody else, there isn't a single person. But person that's not on Facebook. But there are people who are like, the new people who show up are like, they're either I have Facebook from 5 years ago, or I don't have Facebook. It's like, what? How did you... it's weird. 5-10 years ago, or I don't have Facebook. It's like, what are we doing? Facebook, like, why are we still using it anyway? But, so right before, okay, that's the thing. Right before, so my friend goes, this is Wednesday night. My friend goes, okay, so we're not doing anything. And I'm like, okay. Great. So I was like, okay, well, then I have an idea. We have a Discord server for this young adults group. So I was like, hey, I'll play some worship music. It'll be great. At 7 instead, right? And then somebody goes, I thought there was, no, sorry, it was, so you're not going to be at, what is it? Okay, we're not going to be at young adults? And I'm like, I heard there was nothing. And then, literally, as I was saying, I posted that, and maybe a minute late, or maybe 5 minutes later, that's when my power, crapped. That's when my power, blew. It was, or maybe it wasn't 5 minutes, maybe it was a half hour, but still, it was significantly quickly, I'm out. Because my friend was like, I'm out of power. Because he texted me. I was like, oh, okay, well. And then I was like, we're out of power. I was like, wow, okay. We're out of power, are we? Well, then. Great. We're out of power. Oh, he's out of power. I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm like, now I'm out of power. And then my power came on at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Or 9:50, 10 o'clock, somewhere in there. For maybe 2 minutes or something. A minute, and then went back off. And I've had power ever since about 2:30, 3 o'clock yesterday. And I think I'm back. Because my dad was like, well, you don't know if that's going to just kind of not, you're going to come on and off. And I'm like, I don't know, Dad, because my brother was called us because we were out doing stuff. And my brother called and was like, yo, no, we have power. And it's been on for about a half hour, so no, I think we have power. I'm pretty sure I have power. I'm like, okay, great. But anyway, that's what's happened. So that was the thing. So I was like, oh no, right? And then so it died. So I don't even know if there was something on that Wednesday night because I just couldn't get any information about. Is there something? I mean, I could have texted someone. I could have like texted the guy because I have the guy who runs his number. No, I could have texted him or called him, texted him. I just didn't. Also, I was like, also that night was a night when it was disgustingly like ice. It was ice everywhere. It was nasty. It was dangerous to be out. Now, if you live close by, it's not that bad. But I live about 20-25 minutes from the church, which isn't that bad because I realized it's about the same amount to get to my church now that I go to now. That's my previous church. My new church. The young adults at my previous church. The new church, my current church, it's about the same amount of time. About 20 minutes. So I realized, I'm like, oh, wow. It really doesn't take, it really takes about the same amount of time. Which is weird because it's still in Laval. Or it's in my city. Sorry, it's in my city. It's still in my city. So. Still in my city, which is weird, but to me, I'm like, it should be closer, but no, I mean, it's still far. I mean, Laval, the city is big, so anyway. Yeah, so that was just weird. That was like very strange, but I mean, that part, how much is on the internet, and then the friend I'm talking to, I'm like keeping in touch with, he works in IT. So you're like, well, what do you? I'm gonna ask him next time I see him. I'm like, well, what happened with your whole thing of like, did you have to like, just not work for 3 days? What happened? Right? What happened? Like, did you not work for 3 days? Like, what happens? Right? It's one of those like, whoa, I never even thought about that. Right? Like, well, what do you do? What do you get to do? Right? Let me change the background. The background is kind of Rocky Balboa. What is this a picture of? I don't know. It's a British ship of some kind. It's a fine one. What's that door to? There's the door to my whatever. I don't care for it. That's a cool picture of the Olympia. Olympic. Olympia. I don't know. The rest of these pictures kind of suck. I'm sorry. So maybe that one was the best picture. Let's leave it up, I guess. But anyway, so yeah. So, hey. I mean, I was just like, okay. I was like, okay. Anyway, so that was what happened in the last, like, 2-3 days. Crazy. Kind of crazy, but also like, okay, well. I don't know. How do I, like, boost myself? Is there a way to boost yourself? Probably not, eh? I don't know what else to talk about, really. So, yeah. Man, as I realized, whoa. I don't do nearly as much, and I don't know nearly as much, and I don't have nearly as much, and I don't... Like, I'm not prepared nearly as much. I mean, nobody was prepared. Everyone was, like, doing that, like, frantic. Let's get to every store to find, like, a generator. It's like, dude, seriously? Now, if you have a job that needs a generator, or if it needs power, or if you're doing something that needs power, I mean, sure, there's that whole thing of, like, the cold, right? But you're not gonna, like, hook it into your house and have heating. At least that's not, as far as I know. Look, I'm not an electrician, but I don't think that's how that works. So for me, it's like, what really getting a generator for? No offense. Your fridge? You're gonna connect your fridge to it? That's actually smart. That fridge and freezer? That's actually pretty good because a lot of people lost their food. So, but apparently, okay, I heard that it's not that you can actually claim the lost food on your insurance, home insurance, like or your business insurance. I guess home insurance. Yeah. I'm like, what? Wow. Okay. To a certain extent, though, it has to be like more expensive and stuff. I don't know. I was like, what? Okay, well, that's weird, but okay. I thought to myself, no, of course you're not gonna be able to do that. It's not their fault. No, apparently you can claim insurance. Anyway, it's like, okay, well then, I guess you can. So yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, so very weird, but okay. What were they saying? Yeah, so I mean, pretty weird, but okay. Oh yeah. So anyway, So I learned like we're not prepared for anything. We ran out of gas too in places. Like just gas stations were like we have no gas. There's no gas here. Like gas people were using it for their generators, maybe. I'm trying to think why would you be running out of gas, but maybe it's because also a lot of people just went into their cars and charged their cell phones through their cars. I was also wondering kind of like why would you charge your cell phone in your car if you're not going to be able to use your cell phone for anything anyway? Emergencies, I guess. The thing that blew my mind, the thing that absolutely blew my mind, and I was just like, no way. No way. People are not that stupid. It was, they were taking their barbecues, okay, lighting them up in their houses, and then having carbon monoxide poisoning from the propane going into your house. I was like, what are you, like, and they went to the hospital for carbon monoxide poisoning, and I'm like, are you that stupid? But the ones that warm their houses, the ones that do this, wanted to do that. I'm like, the actual freaking heck, man. No freaking way. And yeah, it was way. I was like, what? People were doing that? I'm like, wow, that we really don't know what we're doing. Are you that stupid? I almost thought, I'm like, how? But like, yeah, you're that stupid. Or some people just like are desperate. I don't think they're stupid. I think they're desperate. I think there's a difference there. I don't think you're stupid. I think you're desperate. Anyway, I mean, look. In my opinion, I don't know. It's just weird, okay? It's very weird. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so. I started realizing I don't know a lot. I don't know enough. I don't know as much as a lot of other people. I don't. I really don't. Or I don't do a lot. I don't know. I had all the opportunities to read books and I didn't. Not really. I was like, I was kind of just walking around being like, what am I supposed to do now? I hate this being so dark and so, like, you feel like you're alone. Because we've been so accomplished to getting our information from, like, you know, from, like, what's it called? Gosh. From the internet, our information or our like, connections to people through the internet, that, like, immediately, when you don't get news from the internet, maybe it's just me, but if you don't get news from the internet, you know, don't get news from, like, TV or internet or something like that, we're all like, oh no, the world's over. It's like, the world's not over. Also, I realized, I'm like, you know how many people probably still live like this in the world? Quite a lot. Also, people live like this, like, 100 years ago, or even, like, 50, 60 years ago. Like, it's not super, super long. I also thought to myself, we live in a, we lived the majority of human history without any electricity. The majority of human history was just no electricity. Most of humans' existence was without electricity. So, like, just think about that. So it's like, okay. So this is nothing. Like, we really think we're bad now? Like, to me it's like, this is nothing, come on. It did feel a little nice just to be like, I'm not doing crazy stuff right now. Anyway, I don't know. Look, in my opinion, I have I don't know. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so that's what that was. And I'm like, wow. Just really showed that, like, we're not prepared, we know what we're doing, it's all that stuff, which is fine, but in the sense that the wake-up call is good. Tell us we should be prepared. But how prepared do you want to be also? Like, how prepared do you want to be, right? This is going to get less and less frequent. But when it happens, we should be prepared, I guess. I don't know. And that was the other thing. We had got stuff and bought stuff and, like, prepared and got some things, right? And then by the time we got home, the power was back, so it's like, well, what's the point, right? Not that what's the point, we're prepared for the next time, but is the next thing going to happen a lot? I don't know. And I just realized, I'm like, and they want the world to be on electricity. what happens if you got bad foreign actors who just do this kind of thing to us, just for not for fun, but you know what I mean? Like, they do this to us. You know what? You know, foreign actor can do this, and we'll all be like scrambling, like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? You know? Oh no, what do we do? We're screwed. You know? 'Cause I made a point once on like, what's it called? On an episode of I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was or what's the show I'm talking about? The Wan Show. I was commenting in the Wan Show live feed, live chat, and I was just like, what happens when? Because they were talking about like electric cars, and Linus was kind of like talking about this like, nope. Sorry, you're screwed. Like, accept it. It's going to be electric cars. Move on with your life. And I'm like, what happens with EMPs? What happens with an EMP? What happens with an EMP? What happens with the EMP? The EMP will EMP us and we're frigged. That's just it. Our car's gone. Dead. Down. Or infrastructure of this. I mean, recently, okay, within the last, like, year and a half, maybe 2 years, there was an American, and I don't know if it was like a big like national thing. I don't think it was like a federal thing. I think it was just like a, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a local, more local, like a smaller, maybe a state. I don't know. Maybe it got that big. I don't know. Anyway, water system, right? Water filtration or purification or whatever system. That just foreign actors got in, hacked it, bam, it was down. I was like, why is your water system on? What? That's crazy. But then I'm like, actually, automation or whatever. Like, I understand now. I get it. I think it's stupid in the sense that there's no like there's no not backup, but like there's no like analog, not alternative backup. Like where it's like, I don't know. It's weird. I'm like, what? I'm kind of scared when I hear that. I'm like, no, that's the bad thing. Not just like we're going to destroy it ourselves. No, that's the thing that scares me when it's like, well, they could just decide to take down our system. And they've been talking about this for years. They talked about this like 10 years ago. I saw like a special on that. The biggest threat to like Western civilization is just if a bad actor decides, oh, we're going to EMP you, or we're going to take down your like electrical grid. And somebody was something like, you got like 2 days or something, and then you're screwed. Like, you're dead. You're down. Gone. You like everything you need, every like thing you've gone. Dead. Wow. That's crazy, but that's probably the truth. It's probably how it works. Crazy to me, but you know, what are you gonna do, right? In my opinion, it's like, wow, okay, that's scary, but anyway. So yeah, that's that, and like. That's that. So I mean, I don't know. And so So that's that with that and people and me and how I thought about it. I'm like, wow, I really don't care, and I'm whatever. But like, or I'm not prepared, or whatever. Like everybody else was not prepared, basically. Also, it's happened in the weird time of the year too, where it's like it's not a blackout in the summer where it can be hot, it can be disgusting, but we can figure out ways to like get cool, right? We'll figure ways to get cool. You know, get ice, go to the pool, go to the beach, figure out ways, get people out somewhere, go in a car, cool off, drive, just have the windows down, that kind of stuff. And it's a summer, so we can go out and just do, right? So we can there's stuff to do. And it's not the winter, right? Where it's dangerous because it's so damn cold and we're freezing and it's like we could die because we could freeze to death. It wasn't that either. It's a stupid, weird springtime where it's kind of cold. Like last night was supposed to be minus 12 at night, which is a little bit crazy. That is actually pretty insane. Well, no, it's minus 6, but with the wind chill feeling like minus 12. And so I was like, yeah, that's dangerous, but it's not crazy. That's crazy, but it's not. I don't know. Because I remember the first night, which was Wednesday night, I went to my bed and I was like, it's not that bad. Because it honestly wasn't that bad. Only like maybe 4 or 5 hours. Maybe 6, 7. I was like, okay, whatever. Not bad. And then by Thursday night, I was like, wow, this is cold. This is cold. I mean, it wasn't bad because I had blankets and I had long sleeve shirts and I had stuff. It was cold. Like it was okay, but um what was I? But I was like, this is significantly worse than previous night. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So like, anyway. Yeah. So then I've come to the conclusion. I don't know. I've come to the conclusion. I don't know what I'm saying. Just talking, thinking, seeing, checking if anybody's going to be here. Probably not. Probably going to be nobody, but hey, what are you going to do? I'm streaming at a weird time, too. Which probably screws with my whatevers. My stream analytics, stream whatever. For at least for Twitch. I don't know about YouTube. I have no idea if YouTube has the same kind of thing. Stream data, stream whatever. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, so yeah. I mean, I've talked about this before, but communities. I'm just like, it's this weird thing, okay? Communities are weird because there are. Okay, there's a lot of people. Cause okay, I'll use my I'll use my young adults from my old church as an example. There's a lot of people in there. It's like a good, I want to say half people who just don't show up regularly to church as a whole, or just 100% do not call that church their home church, which is weird, but okay. But to me, I thought that was weird a little, but then I was like, but look at me, I don't go to that church anymore, really. Hello? Oh, okay, I thought it froze. No. I don't, like, necessarily go to that church, but I'm like, so communities is weird. I talked about communities, how, like, I feel like a community is, if you leave that community, do you feel, I don't want to say but do you just feel like there's something missing? You're like, oh, I like that community. That's why you know if you're in a good community. If you leave that community, you don't give a hoot, and you're like, okay, well, doesn't matter, I don't care. Like, for years, I just kind of, like, left the other community, my church, because I was like, well, it was too close to it, and like, and I was still young, so I was kind of connected to, like, what had happened with a family at that church. I'm not going to go into details, but happened with a family at the church, and so it's like, I was connected to it and whatever, blah, blah. Now I'm an adult, and now I'm, like, an old enough adult. Also, I might get I'm trying to get my driver's license soon. That's a whole stupid ordeal where they made it, like, the way, like, the place, like, the way you get your driver's license, right? They now have a website, the government section of the government that does car, like, stuff, and so because you have that, you have it set up like that, you now have to, like, go online, and I tried, and it wouldn't take what I needed: my name, social insurance number, and Medicare card. I was like, oh, I thought I did it right. Unless I'm doing it wrong. I could be doing something wrong, and I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. Because that's the other thing. I did it twice or 3 times. I did it enough times to give me one more strike, where if I don't do it right again, I'm locked out, and I have to call them and be like, well, can you get me in? And it's so dumb. I just think it's dumb. It's like, it's anyway. But anyway, yeah. So I could get a car, and so I'm saying I could get a car, and so because no, wrong way, sorry. And so because I'm an adult, like, get a car, I could, like, go back to this church, because that's the closest place I've ever felt to, like, have a community here. I feel like I belong in this community of people, rather than, because my church's young adults meets every 2 weeks, so twice a month, and I'm like, why? They did that with the youth group, and I just was, like, baffled as to why. What's the either advantage or what's the reason? Is there a reason? Is the youth pastor lazy? Is the youth pastor busy? I don't think so. I really don't think it's. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, it's so hard. No, you know why? Because my church met every single Friday, and so for me, I was like for youth group, and they had a young adults once a week, and they had a young adults event. I think it was once a month on a Saturday. They had, and then there was a Bible study for people, men, women. It was stuff that they do almost every day, and so I was like, this is stupid. And it was weekly, and it was like, what? Why are you doing it every 2 weeks? What? Why? What is this? Why? And I never felt connected to that church. I told kids that's the thing. No offense. I'm not gonna name names here, but you know, dox anybody, name names or drop names. But like, do you know church I'm at? No, I'm sorry. I never, because I talked to someone once, and it was because we do this thing where the young adults come together. All these groups of young adults come together every other. Nope, sorry. Second. It's supposed to be second Wednesday of every month, right? And so because oh wow, and that's like a group of people, and one of the people from my old church runs it, and I heard his wife run it, and so it's like, okay, it's a big thing. And then somebody came to me, somebody I'd kind of known before, where it's like, um, and because he asked me which church you go to, and I said, oh, I used to go to Westview, blah blah blah, and there was a lot of people who used to go to Westview there too. I'm like, wow, you used to go to Westview, and you used to go to Westview, and you used to go to Westview. I was like, wow, sorry, used to go to this church, the old church, and that used to go to the old church, and that used to go to my old church. It's like, wow, there's actually quite a lot of people. There's quite a lot of people who used to go. I used to go there, and used to go, and so I don't kind of. Oh well, not gonna know what that means. So anyway, you used to go to that church, and used to go to church, which I mean, yeah, I knew a lot of people like that, and so it's like, wow, and so they go, and it's like, well, anyway, I don't know what that had to do with anything, but oh crap, my phone's gonna die. I might actually be able to post this thing before it dies, but I don't know. Maybe I won't. Hopefully I can. Anyway, so sorry. Um, and he asked me, well, where'd you go? And I'm like, I don't like it. There's maybe like 15, maybe 20 like young adults, maybe if that. I mean, that's about the same amount at my old church, so it's not like it's a bit of a number, but like, and so, come on, dang it. And so, but I was like, I really don't feel like connected to the other church. Ah, it's dead. It died. One died. Great. Actually, I'm gonna put it over here. Maybe yeah. And he asked me, well, would you go back to the other church? And I said, well, my family's been hurt by the church, and whatever, blah blah blah, yada yada. But I'm like, but then I thought to myself, I'm like, but I wasn't really. And then I was like, well, and then just recently, within a month, I had seen one of the higher up people who like, and I was like, who there were problems with, and I was like, he didn't come off to me as like some bad, not evil, but he didn't hate me. He didn't feel like he ignored me. He didn't go, oh, he didn't have that attitude that looked at me like, oh, you're here. Oh, you. Now, see, from my brother, my mother, or my father, it would have been a whole different story. Oh, probably. I feel like it would have been a different story. I don't know for sure, because, enough time has passed, but I feel like it would have been, oh, no, different story, so. And so now I'm, like, contemplating, because if I get a driver's license, right, I could just drive there myself, and I could go to that church if I wanted to. Like, I know, like, I'm not too bad with the like, I kind of, like, or at least I can deal with the like, pastor of that church. It's weird. But I can't deal with But I don't know if I can deal with it. I don't know. I've been watching it and looking at it, and like on a Sunday morning. Also, it's so weird. That church is so weird. Cause I used to be able to fit. Oh, good. 200. Cause no, okay. Used to be able to get every week about 250 people, 200 to 300 people, somewhere in that range. It was actually consistent. It was like really impressive. We were considered the mega church of Montreal, one of the mega churches in Montreal. I debate it's the biggest church in Montreal, but now I'm like, maybe not, still not anymore. But at one point we were, and so anyway, it was the anyway. But now you look at them, you're like, wow, really, nobody's really showing up. Jeez Louise. So you get about 250. It can fit. It used to fit. It was built to fit 700. No, sorry, it's built to fit 500, and they expanded to fit 200 more more people, and like, wow, it's really interesting to think of like, and now there's like 10% of that, if that, like, just a fraction of the amount. Just a fraction of the amount of people. At least from what I see on the live streams that I watch sometimes. It's like, wow. Like, wow, that's just, like, crazy in the sense that, like, what happened? We were a big church. I don't know. Anyway. They're finding better churches. I'm not going to say, better. Per se, though. What? I want to say one thing about this church. It's a very good church, okay, to bring people into Christianity. You throw them in, it's very easy, it's very light, it's nothing super, super crazy hard, but then once they want more, once they're like, give me more, I want more, I hunger for, I thirst for, I long for more, they'll all leave. People will leave. And be like, well, I want I don't want to use the word better. Right? That's not what... It's not like it's a... Oh, crap. Very cool. What? Nope. Nope. No, I don't want to say... Yeah, I don't want to use the words better, but just more. Like a heartier, almost. Like a... It's like there's a verse that says, meat and potatoes, like... Or not meat and potatoes, sorry. Milk. You start off drinking milk, but you don't have to eventually eat meat. Or solid food. It's like, no, you have to get to that point. And I'm going to be honest, that church doesn't have a lot of that. Or at least it didn't. It wasn't very great at that. It didn't keep people invested. Why are you not here and like... I'm right on my shoulder. Look, I'm right on my own shoulder. Look. There I am. It's funny stuff. Anyway, they're not a horrible church. They're just not good. But this new pastor, in my opinion, it's been like, wow, you've been actually doing things that like haven't been touched upon in either topics you haven't touched upon in a while, haven't ever like delved into like this hard hitting stuff where it's like, well, you have to talk about this stuff because this is Christianity, and Christianity isn't just let's look at some story. Let's read some story and look at how we can kind of vaguely apply it to our lives. And it kind of means this, and I interpret it like this, and there you go. And not that that's horrible. It's just that's just kind of very, very like easy, loose. But that's the thing. You want me to be honest with you at this church? That's the audience they're catering to. They've got this audience of like nobody knows anything of like nobody's really thinking about the hard stuff, looking about the hard stuff, and when you start looking at the hard stuff, you start realizing, or more, you're looking at more even just not even hard, but just more like deeper or more. It's like oh, you guys. I'm not gonna say you guys suck, but some people probably feel that way. Why you suck? Like you're not doing very much for me, so I have to leave and get out. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's the thing that I think. For about the whole time I've been there, right? I was there, and even till now, I'm like, it's a great church to bring someone into Christianity with. It is. But if you don't go further from there, if you sit and stay at this like level at like not this surface level, not surface because it's getting better from what I've seen, but like this like easy. I don't know how to explain it. Simple, easy. I don't know. Level. If you don't get past that, it ain't good. At least not in my opinion. In my opinion, it's like, oh, it's not great. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just not great. I don't know. To me, it's like, yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't see a problem with the place. That's the other thing. In any way, shape, or form. And and then other people don't see a problem with it. Or other people don't see a problem with it, but don't bring anything up and just leave. Well, I wasn't allowed to. No, no, bye. This is failing, or that's. See, I don't want to use the words failing, but failing in like a. It's just not prospering, or it's not growing in any way. And you're like, because I remember this, okay? It's kind of a funny story, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of amusing. It's the first time the pastor. So what happened was, the person who was running the place left for 2 weeks. This is when she was still running the young adults. She left for 2 weeks. Oh, is that Israel or that's Spain? Anyway, I think it was Spain. Anyway, doesn't matter. I digress. Beside the point. And the pastor came along and was like, how do we bring more young adults into young adults or into a church or into how do we get more people involved in Christianity? And it's like Christianity, right? So we did a whole thing. We were talking about it the whole night. We did 2 hours or whatever, hour and a half of like, yeah, it's great. And he talks about it, right? Like we can't always, always do like big, huge theological stuff. I asked the question, would you do a 2 hours of like a deep dive into a hard-hitting discussion? And he's like, no. I might have once every few so often, but no, I would try and get it to be more open to everybody else. Okay. And then she came back, and then about a month and a half later is when she left. Well, a month later is when she left. Then we had a break. We didn't do anything, and then for maybe 2 weeks, yeah. And then we started up. So we started up, and so he started it. A month and a half after that time, he came. I used to call it visit. I don't know, or like guest speak. Anyway, guest host. Anyway, what has he been doing the whole time? I'm sorry. What has he been doing the whole time? Exactly that. These deep discussions of like, well, where did your idea of like making it more like person friendly, secular? Now, not secular in like we're gonna stop doing religion, but secular in like we're gonna have something that has nothing to do with religion. Because that's the thing. That's another great thing that church does very well. That church does very well, or at least did very well, was it had so many activities that you could do that had nothing to do with Jesus. It had nothing to do. It wasn't something, and it wasn't like a Christian version of this thing, like a Christian, I don't know, pick an event, anything, Christian potluck, or Christian bingo, or Christian hockey, where it's like we're gonna have a whole section of it where we do Jesus. We gotta like have, and we shove Jesus down your throat, like, and then people don't want to show up because it's not like, because that's not the point. They figured out, okay, we're gonna have these events where it has nothing to do with Jesus at a church, so that they get curious about Jesus. And if we ask about, and we'll have a little bit of Jesus, maybe we'll have a little bit of Jesus. We'll pray here and there. Maybe we'll like reference a scripture here, but we won't like do a deep dive into Jesus. We won't talk about Jesus for 2 hours, or we won't make it like a Christian thing where the event just becomes terrible because, or I don't want to be there as a non-Christian because it's Jesus, man. They're great at that. So that's the thing, they're great at that. But what have we done since then? for the young adults at least. We threw it into this. We're not doing any. Oh man, it's hot. Holy crow, it's hot. See, now it's hot. That's weird, eh? Anyway, like it's weird. It's like, what was I saying? Yeah. So they're very good at that. So this guy comes along and makes it not that way. I don't know. It's weird. And that was his idea. He was like, okay, let's make it like not Christian. Let's make it an environment like a non-Christian we want to show up to. And that's the thing. Well, okay, I have to go back one. I have to go back slightly in the timeline of this church. Or before we left, the youth pastor decided, hey, we're not going to have, the regular youth group anymore. We're going to have this, like, new fangled, like, it's going to be all Christian. It's going to be a Bible study, basically, and it's all going to be Jesus. Look, I have nothing wrong with that. It's a church. You can just do that. You're a church. But if you're trying to get people to come to your church and you want to get more Christians, right? You want to make disciples of all nations, of everybody. Let's make it more open to the people who don't want that shoved down their throat. Because that's the thing, right? You're not going to bring your secular friend from school when it's to a youth group when the event is worship night, when the event is just a Bible study. There's nothing other. That's the thing. The previous guy was very good at having these. He set it up in just such a way. It was like, here's your very spiritual scripture, very spiritual scripture or worship night or something like that. But that was like once a month, if that even. Once every 2 months, maybe. Or every 6 weeks, maybe. And then you have an event that's got something to do, some event, some game, some this, some that, some whatever. And then we'll go into a devotional. So we'll talk about Jesus or the Bible or whatever, or whoever. But that's a part of the other one. And then there's the events where there's just no, we're not going to talk about them at all. We're not going to talk about Jesus. We're not going to talk about the Bible. We're just going to have a fun event to do, and then that's it. And it's like, whoa, he really knew how to do that. It was good. And then the next person, I mean, she was okay with that. Kind of just fell off a little bit. It wasn't horrible, but when she decided, oh no, we're going to do it this way, I'm like, why? What? You're not. No, because what happened was they killed the midweek Bible study. Everybody had a Bible study either on Wednesday or Thursday, and I was like, what? Why? What are you doing? What's going on? No, look, I'm not trying to crap on this church. This church is terrible. It's awful. It's no. But I'm just saying, it just baffles my mind how things divert and change. Really, I don't know. They're good at one thing at one point, and then they were good at bringing people in without having Jesus and all that stuff at one point, and then they were like, well, we gotta have more Jesus, which I do think Jesus is important at a church, in a Christian church, right? A church, that's, you gotta have God and Jesus in this. But if you want to bring people into it, you can't shove Jesus down people's throats. You can't. You can't have someone say, a coworker come to church, or a coworker come to church, or your friend if you're a kid in school, or your colleague, or your classmate, or whoever, or your boss, or your whoever, or your doctor, or your lawyer, your accountant. And you can't bring those people who don't care for church to an event that's all Jesus. It's not gonna work. But if you go to an event that's like this and you see, oh, these are all Christian people, and they're not wacky whacks, they're not actually crazy loons. Well then, maybe I'll look into this Jesus thing. I mean, I don't need, or I might not necessarily, become Christian fully out. Maybe not now, maybe not ever, but at least you brought the seed and said, here you go. And then they were curious, I made them curious and go, pop the seed, right? I made the point, or no, I didn't make the point, sorry. My friend made the point when we were doing because I did a conference once, and we went to the local mall, and we did, I don't know why I'm doing this. We did local mall, and we did this evangelizing, and after at the end, I might have talked about this already, but after at the end, he said, or his friend said, because I think he asked his friend, well, how did it go? How was it? Was it good? Was it bad? And he was kind of like, we didn't do too well. And he goes, well, look, you have to remember, we're not supposed to grow the tree. We're supposed to plant the seed. Our job is to plant the seed. And that what he means by that is there's two different ways of saying that. I just realized now, but two ways of saying that. There's one where it's like, God will grow the tree. It's God's job, which is true. But it's also the person's job to then, like, keep growing itself. You know? Growing themselves. Growing their spirituality. You know? You can't... It's a whole you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't convince it this, that, or the other thing. You can't. And it's not your fault. You can't just be like, oh, I feel like I've turned it. Well, that's the thing. If you're teaching them the wrong thing, sure. But if you're just, spreading the gospel and teaching about the gospel and going around, and then they're just not receptive of it, or just they don't care or whatever, it's like, it's not your fault. You're doing your thing and they don't want it, whatever. At least that's how I feel. And so, so yeah. So that's that church. You could at least get someone to come to it. Now it's like there's less and less. At least from what I've heard, there's less and less and less and less and less and less and less of these things where it's like, oh, I don't have to go with. I don't have to. Like, I'm not going to some weird Christian thing, no. But I'll go to like a hockey night because I like sports, and if you happen to have Jesus, oh, okay, there's Jesus here. But they'll see you as a good person and like a person that's not a whack, and you're crazy and you hate whatever, or you hate me, or you're very, what's the word, judgmental and like all that kind of stuff. Like, no, I'm fine. Or I'll go to like cooking class on a Saturday, or go to a dinner, or whatever, right? Just just they had so many events that people could do that were not Christian. So no, this is like, and he had the idea of like, well, let's make it so it's not Christian, so let's make it an exclusive club like going to the club is what he basically wanted to set up. He wanted like a cafe, because his old church started a cafe on Thursday nights. So I was like, the pastor's old church, he started a club on Thursday nights, which is a cafe, and you just kind of like whatever it. And it's like, great idea, but here's the thing. And that's what somebody explained. We had that. Where did it go? It just died out eventually. Well, we're gonna get each like, and he also thinks that I don't know if this is 100% how he thinks, but I feel like he thinks that it's like, well, we'll get our young adults to do it, and we'll all have like rotations, we'll do it. No. We're people with lives. We had this kind of thing. People tried it. We did it. It didn't, completely like change the world. And from what I heard, now my brother went to a lot of them. Okay? He told me about them. I only went to one of these like cafe things that we had already. Not at the same church, at like a different place. Like it was like a food bank that opened up their doors to have like a cafe, like a coffee night thing, cafe. And from what I heard, and from the one time I went, it wasn't a bunch of like getting new people. It was a bunch of Christians coming together. It's another one of those, okay? It's just like that young adults rally that we have once a month, second Wednesday of every month, where, yes, we should have a community and we should have a nice place to come together. But if your whole idea is to make disciples, right? If our whole, I don't know if you want to use job or mission, right, is to make more disciples. Now, I'm gonna be honest here though. I'm not the best at that. I don't go out onto every street and like, evangelize every day. Jesus, hey, you good, tell people about Jesus. And I'm not the best at that. I'm gonna be honest. But and you're not bringing in friends. It's all a bunch of Christians who are already Christian, who also have their own clique of their own group of people. Now, I have met some people here that I didn't know before, so I want to say that. But 90% of the people are all in their own little cliques, and it's like, no, I'm in my own little clique. I'm going to stay with my church or my friends, and that's it. I was like, because I've always said this. At least in my part of the world, right? One of the most BS baloney words that at least the Protestant Christians use is this idea of community. Like, oh, we're all a community here. We're all together. It's all community. And it's like, screw off. Then make it a community, you dumb twat. Although he is better. So the guy who's running this one is better than the guy who ran the youth version. I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna be brutally honest. Guy was kind of awful at making it community. Maybe he was socially awkward. Maybe he was just not great. But the guy who did it for like the teenagers, for like youth group age teenagers, I was like, oh my god, you're awful at making it like. Oh, it was horrible. It was so bad. Just no good. So he was just awful at trying to get a community going. He was. He also had a bunch of random as socially either you were either socially awkward, or you just wanted to hang out with your own people, like leaders running it too. I'm like, oh, what? Oh. Which was weird because he ran the summer camp at that same building that we do it in. It's like a church, youth center. And he runs a summer camp, or I don't know if he still runs a summer camp, but he ran the summer camp, and I'm like. So yeah. So it was like, and he ran that fairly decently from what I recall. I wasn't in it when he was around. I used to go to that same building, summer camp. Day camp. That summer camp, sleepaway, day camp. And so I was like, oh yeah, okay. I didn't go when he was around. I mean, I was going while he was around, but I wasn't in the same age group. There's like age categories. So I like moved up in the age category. But like, oh yeah. So from what I heard, he was like decent. So it was just anyway. But like, so that's the thing. It's just like community. What were they talking about that? How did I get to that? Oh, the whole like can't bring people. Right. You need something to like not. I guess because that's the thing. The person running it never. This is the young adult rally. Never said it as like we're gonna get new people. We're gonna get not really. He kind of said, let's bring the churches together so we have a place to commune. But that's the thing. Whether it was at my old church, the new church I'm at, who else? What else? My summer camp, these rallies, either it's youth or young adults, they all have these little communities of like, oh, no, sorry. I'll stick with my own community. Not really going to meet new people now. No. Might be that like, I'm not comfortable, like, oh, we're not comfortable meeting new people. Which is fair. I'm not. I'm horrible at meeting people. I'm awful. I'm so social. I don't know social skills at all. It's so bizarre to me. I want to be better at it, and I'm getting slightly better at it, but I'm not actually that good at it. I have gotten better. I have gone and met with people, talked to people, did more better things, but like, for the longest time, I was so awful at meeting new people. I just didn't want to, also. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Can I just get out of here? I'm fine. Like you, whatever, I'm okay. I know the 3 people I know, and I'm good. I'll talk to them, say hi, get out, you know. And when they wouldn't show up to something, I'd be like, and I realized, I'm like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be totally fine. That's the thing. I always thought to myself, as long as I know one person, I'm gonna be fine. And then, I think it was a situation where I didn't know anybody well enough to be able to like talk to them. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And what's the word? I survived. I was fine, but I'm just like, I just felt like, whoa. But I think I was fine. Anyway, so yeah, community. Anyway, so at least he's not trying to he never like marketed this thing as like, well, let's go, let's bring new people to this Christianity thing, this rally, this youth rally. No, sorry, young adults. So I'm like, okay, at least you're not trying to sell it as that. Yeah, of course, if you bring people, it's great, but that's not the point of this thing. At least not that I know of, or at least not I remember. I've been to every single one of them, so at least he's not, trying to just do that and then just like, whatever. If we whatever. I don't care. 'Cause that's a big thing too that the Christians kind of do. I'm not saying it's a bad thing per se, but they have this idea of like, oh, I'm a Christian. It's not good. I've said it's not a good thing. I'm a Christian and I'll stay with my Christian bubble. I'll exist in the world, right? But I won't try and like bring new people in. I have to just grow myself and my community. Which I don't have a problem with that, but you're neglecting the whole, well, bring more people to Jesus. Isn't that the whole point of this? Isn't that the whole point of why we're on the earth right now? We're bringing people to Jesus. We're supposed to be bringing people to Jesus. To follow Jesus, to accept Jesus into their heart. It's just my, and it's just kind of funny. It's like, whatever. And then other times it's like, well, because I'll be sitting in like either a church, like for a service on a Sunday, or at a youth group or young adults or at a conference somewhere or whatnot, and I'm just like, why am I sitting here listening to you, especially if it's the same general thing I've heard a million times? Now, I could get a different thing out of it. I could get a different, idea, or I could pull something else out of it. But like, why am I here listening to this and not telling people of Jesus? Now, of course, I'm up 2 hours east in the eastern townships and we're in basically the middle of nowhere, and they can't just be like, okay, now go out and tell of people, tell the people, go and tell the, go and evangelize. Go and where? It takes at least a half hour by car, to drive into a town. Like, it's not but then again, that's not the point of that event, that retreat, or that place, And this isn't the summer. This is the fall, doing like a fall retreat. So I sit there and I go, but why? And then I'm like, well, I guess we can't really just go out and do that now. And then I think to myself, well, then why did I come? Right? Why did I come? Because it's, I have to choose it too. And I would think that almost every time I was there, maybe not the first time, because I was young and I liked it and whatever, but like, more than once. I know that, more than once. Why am I here and why am I thinking about this? And it's like, oh, it's because, not because. So it's like, you have to think about that myself too. I have to think about it myself too. Like, in like a, well, it's, you don't have to be here. You've been there once. You know what it's like. You know what it's about. If I think it's bad, I know what it's like. I know what it's about. Not bad, but if I think, what am I doing here at this thing, then leave or don't go to it. So I had to think about it. I'm like, well, I like it. It's a good thing. It's something to do to learn about Jesus. So it's not bad. Anyway, but I just think to myself on a Sunday morning when I could be, doing other good Christian things. I'm sitting here listening to the sermon I've heard probably 1,000 times, or not 1,000 times, but you know what I mean by that. You know what I mean? Like, not 1,000 times, but just the same kind of like. Although the Bible is a living Word of God, meaning it's always like it's always like showing something else to you, revealing something else to you as a Christian. So yes, you can learn more, but like it's another one of the things that non-Christians say. Just regular people, non-Christians, are like, yeah, but you're not better than I am. And no, if we're talking about doing better, then no, we're not. We're not better than you people, right? Right? We're not better than you people. And it's like, oh. And you think about that and you like kind of go, we're not better than you in a worldly, like, doing better for the people. That's the thing. That's what people look at when they say that. I mean, yes, we are. Well, we think we're better. Anyway, then you get into that whole theology or idea of like works versus just faith. Like, I'm okay with my faith, right? But like, oh, it's fine that I just believe in Jesus, right? That's fine. I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior, that He died on the cross for me. There you go. I'm good. Like, good. Good. In like the, not checklists necessarily, but like that's all you really need. Because we've been talking about that a lot. We've been talking about 3 or 4 or 5 times in the past like month and a half about like this idea of like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Of like, well, no, you don't have to do anything to, for God to accept you, for God to love you and accept you, which is 100% true. That's 100% true. That is 100% true. But also, because then you fall into that weird thing where I didn't even bring it up, but I think I thought about it and didn't think about bringing it up. Anyway, but there's that idea of like faith is dead without deeds. It's like, yes, but you don't need the deeds, and you're not like a bad Christian if you don't do some of the deeds, Because it's not a checklist thing. It's not a checklist thing where, oh, I'm doing good stuff for people. It's great. I'm a good person, so there you go. Or I'm doing things. But then God doesn't want you to be lazy and do nothing, so it's such a hard, weird thing. I'm thinking to myself, so the fundamentals are, you don't need to do anything for God to accept you, like, and love you, and you are, quote unquote, a good Christian, right? But you can't do nothing, and because what happens is, so I thought to myself, because he said, this is the pastor for young adults, and it's just like, okay, whoa. So, you don't need to do anything. But, because you have Jesus, you're going to want, and like these things which are fruits that come out of, like, being Christian and having the love of God, you want to do for other people, right? So is that like the like, what's it called? The marker of like, okay, now I'm a good Christian, or now I have, like, I love Jesus enough, or I love God enough, and I have this, like, I have God in me that I want to do these things. Is that like the marker? Is that like the way to like know? I think to myself sometimes, like, I don't know. And if I don't want to do it, am I a bad Christian? It's like, no, because if you accept that and admit that, and then cry out to God, say, I'm not a great Christian, that's some of the best stuff you can do. That's some of the best stuff you can do. If you actively want to be better as a Christian, then you're doing something right. At least that's what the pastor there says. Which, I agree with him. I think that's decent. Yeah, oh yeah. Is it great? I don't know. Also, it's another one of those, we're in this world. We're not of it, though. So we don't have to be, we don't have to hide from the world. Because my pastor at my current church says that all the time. You don't go to church and have a Christian community to hide from the world, to have our, like, check marks. okay, I believe in Jesus. I believe Jesus died for my sins, died on the cross for me, and rose again, and defeated death and sin. Died on the cross for my sins and defeated death. I believe in God, and I go to church. So I have my like, I'm doing my rituals. Oh, good. Check mark. Check, 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 check. Good. And I've got my ticket to heaven, and now I stay here in church to get away from the evil world. No, no, you have to go into the world and figure out how to, I was gonna say mend a broken world, but not really. Just to spread spread the gospel, spread the word, spread the love of Jesus. Convert. I don't know. The world, which is a secular world, a broken secular world. To yeah. So in this world, there's a difference. You don't have to be in it and be like, oh, absorbed by the world. No, consumed by the world and like, oh, I love the world. The world's everything. No, or do things that you shouldn't be doing, right? And also, it's like you don't have to not do anything in this world. It's the idea that if I want to go eat a cheeseburger, I can eat a cheeseburger. There's nothing wrong with that. It's if I get the cheeseburger becomes more important than God, that's where it's like, whoa, stop. Or I can go watch a movie. Yes, okay. You know, there are certain things you shouldn't do, right? As a Christian, right? There's a few things you shouldn't do, right? But not. What is this? Let me see something. What does this do? What does this do? Hello? So there's this one here where it's not crossed out. Turn off what? RN noise? What is that? Hello? What's the difference here? Let me turn this up. All the way. So, it's on now. It sounds like this. Hello? Now it's off and it sounds like this. I don't see a difference, but okay. Or hear a difference. Anyway, so yeah. A few things you shouldn't do. But that. But most of the things in life, like, you can be in this world and enjoy these things. Watch a movie, eat this food, whatever. It's the whole idea of lordship. It's this, like, idea that if this thing is getting above God, it's coming in front of God, that's when you should go. You should reevaluate. You should look at it and say, should I remove this from my life? Should I just remove it from my life completely? And maybe you should. Maybe not. Maybe not. Right? It's also the idea, kind of like, if God asked you, hey, you're going to drop this thing. You're going to stop this. You're going to go do this thing. Would you be able to do that? Right? That's what lordship is. It's having, like, Jesus as your Lord or God as your Lord. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a long time since I studied lordship. It's that effect, like, yeah, having him over above you. And then kind of this idea of not necessarily getting rid of these things or so, but like making it so that if God asked you, hey, could you get rid of playing on a sports team? Could you get rid of watching movies? Could you get rid of this thing out of your life? Could you get rid of drinking? Could you get rid of eating this kind of food? It's like, oh, maybe. It's like, not maybe, sorry. And, you should be able to do that because God was, like, telling you to do that. Anyway. How did I get onto this with? How did I get here? Oh, yeah, how become a good Christian. Because it's works as opposed to faith, right? All you need is the faith. You gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. You gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. You know, which is true. You have to have the faith. You have to believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and He died for your sins. Whoopsies. And He died for your sins, and He rose again on the third day to defeat death, right? That's, if you don't believe in that, ooh, you got a problem. You're not a Christian. I'm sorry, you're not a Christian. I personally think you're not a Christian. Because I know a few people like that. Or they kind of have this, like, idea of, like, God is a thing. God exists. There's a God. And that's the thing. They're okay with the idea of, like, there's a God. God exists. There's a God. It's the whole Jesus was the Son of God and Jesus was God. It's like, I don't know. Because, you know, every religion has their, like, Messiah and their, like, Savior and their, like, Redeemer, you know. So, it doesn't really matter how you get to that God. We're all believing the same God anyway, right? When you're talking about the monotheism. What's the word? Monotheism? Monotheism? I think it's monotheism. Monotheism? How do you spell it? Monotheism. That's it. The doctrine and belief that there is only one God. The doctrine or belief that there is but one God. The doctrine or belief there is but one God. Yeah. Monotheism. Monotheistic religions. So you're talking, you know, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, those ones. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, those kind of religions. If you're talking about those ones, it's like, oh, well, we all believe in the same God, so what's the difference? It's like, no, I'm sorry, that's not how that works. Christianity is the thing that gets us, that separates, I feel like it separates the Christians from the rest of the religions is they see it as, the Christians, you know, have to believe in Jesus. Like, Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God. And without Jesus, without believing in Jesus, there is, like, you're not a Christian. It doesn't work. You cannot enter the kingdom of heaven, you know? Whoever believes in me, no, sorry. Not that. What is it? You can't enter. No, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one can get to the Father except through me, right? So, sorry. Like, it's kind of crazy, too, to me that, like, wait a sec. So, the thing that baffles me is how are the Jews still around? Well, no, because if you read the Bible, right? All these, I mean, you could say coincidental, if you're not a Christian, you could say coincidental, but I mean, so many prophecies just coming true that are freaking dang accurate, like really accurate, and the lineage of, like, Jesus's lineage going perfectly and staying pure and coming down and stay stuff's like, no, this is real and he is the Son of God. Like, that's the one. They say the Messiah was the one, the Son of God, you know. It's like, well, then Jews, right? You Jews, how do you not realize that you only exist, you only still exist, you still exist only because you do not believe that Messiah has come yet. And it's like, what? Now, okay, obviously at the time, even as a kid, I was like, okay, at the time, even as a young kid, at the time, I was like, okay, the Jews didn't believe it because, you know, you can't do that. Because they were thinking of something even grander. I'll whisper right back. Grander, right? Ugh, I hate this with a passion. It keeps rolling over stuff. Just a sec, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get something right now. Yeah, I'll be right back. Oh yeah, I can try that. Is that battery, right? Oh, is that battery good? I don't know. Are these the same battery? I wonder. Look, I have an old phone here. And the only reason I want this old phone to see if it works, I want to see if this old phone works, is because I want to know if I can get because it has a because it has a radio. So I'm like, oh, if it has a radio, that's that's cool. Oh no, I don't think it's the same. Oh, maybe. No, it's not. Dang it, it's not the same battery. Wait, maybe it is the same battery. Wait, let's just look. No, it's not the same battery. Dang it. Oh well. Anyway, now which battery? Which is which phone now? Oh crap. This is the. Okay, this is the old one. Or this is the one. Okay. So yeah, what was I just talking about? Yeah, like that just baffles my mind. I'm like, how do the Jews still exist? I mean, I understand. Back then, sure, it was one of those like, okay. Back then, it was a thing where they didn't believe that was like their big, huge savior Messiah. I mean, I still don't understand that because they had the same. At least if we're reading the Bible, we're like, okay, well, we have the same like scriptures that we have now. So where is your idea that it's not the Messiah you're looking for? Right, this is the guy. He died in his death, all this stuff. He was born of a virgin, all that stuff. All the prophecies that came out. True. It's like, wow, okay. To me, it's like, what? Okay. Maybe let's just let it sit for a while. Well, first of all, I'll see if it charges. If this thing even works. The charge even works. No! Might not work. Dang. I don't think it works, eh? I don't know. This is an old BlackBerry Playbook charger. I don't know if it works. Although, also, I don't know if it actually works. I don't know if it's actually the right connector or power. I think it's 5 volts, 1.8 amps, so should be okay. Although I don't know how to test if it works. That's the thing. Anyway, that's the one that's like what. The other ones are at least completely different religions, like Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists. They're all different religions. Islam. They're all different religions. So, hey, something just worked. Is it working? I don't think it is. I really get another charger. Hey, it works. Kind of. It's holding. Come on. Yeah, okay. So I don't need this to anything yet. So let's go in here, and I'm just gonna check out this. Hold phone. I want a portable radio. I want a good portable radio. I know I took this apart like years ago. And I took it apart years ago, and I thought I only broke the power like the cable that connects the power in. I actually have no idea what I broke. I broke something, I know that. But what was it I broke? I'm missing 2 screws. So let me see what I can. What? Where did my screwdriver go? Oh no. Where did my tiny set of screwdriver set go? Anyway, so yeah. That just baffles my mind. I'm like, that's why there's a whole movement of like Jews for Jesus. There's these people who are like, yeah, we're gonna tell you, we're gonna evangelize to you as to why Jesus is the Jesus you're looking for, the Messiah you're looking for. Here you go. Like that's the thing. Yeah. Like wow, really? Like yeah, oh yeah. I knew somebody whose parents were like, I don't know if they ran it or they ran a section of it. You know, I think about it, I don't know how involved they were. Were they like running it? Did they, the people who were in charge of it? I don't know. They were just involved in it in some way. I don't actually 100% know how high or how whatever connected, but they went to France to do that. They were like telling the Jews in France, they're like, yo, because apparently there's a whole like, at least in Paris from what I've heard, there's a whole like New York, there's a whole section of Jewish section. from what I've heard. I don't know. Never heard it firsthand. I haven't seen it firsthand, but that's what I've heard. Okay, where's the? Oh no. Where is it? No, I didn't. No, I don't think so. But it's not here either. What? Oh, this is stupid. So yeah. So that's that. I might actually take this, the audio from this stream, which is on YouTube, which should be on YouTube. The audio's on YouTube, and I might. Oh yeah, I could. I could rip the audio off, and put it on my podcast. Oh, I didn't say the beginning of it. We're saying episodes, whatever. Might add something at the beginning of this. What was I saying? Yeah, so the whole section. It just baffles my mind that you haven't accepted. Like you, Messiah you're looking for has already come. Sorry. I don't know why you exist still. You can have Jewish traditions and Jewish values and Jewish parts to Christianity. Like I know somebody who like picks from Judaism. Picks from Judaism. It goes. There are parts of Judaism that are great, and we could use them in today, and then we're way more connected to the Judaism as we, than we think, but or than we, want to accept. Almost sounds like, oh, there it is. We want to accept. So like, oh no, we're a whole different thing now. It's like, no, we're still very Jewish. We're back connected to this. Anyway, but yeah. So, I'm just, but yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so. But, your Messiah has come, people. The Messiah you're waiting for has come. Sorry. I don't get how that religion exists in the form it does today. I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh, I'm missing 3, okay. So what did I break? Oopsies, I'm trying to take this off. Like, take apart the phone. See what I broke? Let's see. Nope. Nope, okay. Let's see what I can do. So that's just my thought of that. It's like, but how do you exist? Your Messiah already came, bro. Yeah. God already was like... I don't understand. They don't get it? I just don't get it. Like, to me, it's like baffling. Like, maybe they're old and stuck in their ways. Maybe. Could be that kind of setup where it's like... No. No, because we're the chosen people and we're the great people. It's like, ugh. Well, I was gonna say chosen people, but then you get into the wacky religions, like um Amish and Mormon. I actually looked into that recently. Wow, are those religions a little bit strange? Well, I mean, look, I looked into the Amish. They're actually not as crazy as you think they are, or as people think they are. Oh, yes, they are definitely not, great, and they're not like really rooted in full on the best, you know, intentions and the best whatevers, but at least their history came from a fairly, you know, I'm not gonna say, good, healthy, but a good, like a good idea. Their idea was that baptisms, from what I remember, this is about a month ago, or 3 weeks ago, it was this whole idea that, like, baptisms as a baby are stupid. That's a stupid idea. Baptizing babies is dumb. Basically, it's baptizing babies is dumb. because you don't get to choose your own. Like you don't get to do it out of your own free will, because in the Bible, if we're you know, babies weren't being baptized in the Bible. It was men. It was people. It was humans. It was adults. Well, I mean, babies are humans. I don't want to say like babies aren't humans, but they're like, it's like they're not. It's all out of like religion, and that's what the Protestants think too. Although I've heard that Protestants they did more, infant baptisms than Catholics. So I was like, what? When I heard that, I was like, what? But I was like, but you know what? That doesn't sound super crazy. Sections of it, certain sections of it, maybe. That doesn't sound like absolutely crazy, right? But yeah. Anyway, so in the Bible, which makes sense. They broke up. Basically, it was like a whole Martin Luther King thing, and around that time, yeah. So there's like this idea of Anabaptist, and then like Anabaptist idea where that's one. No, what's holding this? Oh, no, I don't think so. What's holding this in? Let me see what's holding this in. I don't know what's holding this in. What is holding this dang thing in? What the heck? What is holding this stupid thing in? Oh my god! So yeah. Yeah, they're not like the most crazy. They just have way too many rules, which like negates their actually like decent ideas. Hmm. They're decent like set up with all these rules, and then with all these other things that they added, where it's like, oh no, so that makes it bad. Like, and yes, so that makes it awful, and yes, and the half-assedness too, the whole thing of like, well, and the wishy-washy, like, well, I can do this thing, but you can't, and then, well, this version can do it, and like, this is the whole thing, and like, no, some Christians believe you can do this, and others can't. Yeah, or some, sorry, Mormons can do this, and others can't. It's a weird setup. Anyway, what did I break now? Dip, 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 dip. Front camera's unplugged, okay. What do you think of that? I can show you. Back camera. This is the power button. We press the you press the power button. I just won't even see it. Now you wish you'd warranted it. But your iPod shall not be resuscitated. Now you gotta figure out what you gonna do with your dead iPod. Right out your lucky and bury it in your backyard. Even though it's broke, just pretend like it's not to avoid confrontation with strangers at the bus stop. Use it as a weapon if you're being attacked. You know what? On second thought, scratch that. Tape it to your body. Call it a bus switch. Put it in a hoagie. Call it an iPod switch. A pipe weight is limitless. There's a fan on your desk, and even in that case, a manhole cover works best. Or keep it simple, cause less is more. Put it in a shoebox in the back of a drawer. Then 50 years from today, your grandkids will find it and say, you just listen to music on these things? You mean you can have music directly uploaded to your brain? And you'll say, no, we just had iPods. There's the on button. I did break the on button. It was the on button. Dang, bro. Why'd it have to be the on button? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what that is. That's just my experience about religion and stuff, and like the weirdness of religion and like the strangeness and all this. Also, what's happened in the last like 3 days, which is like with all this like weather. Although, right, that happened in 2019 here. We had the same kind of like 3 day power outage. So just about 3 days. Everybody had about the same, level of like 3 day power outage. So, and in my lifetime, the amounts have been less, but I want to say about 5 times maybe in my life that we've had this stuff. So we've had like power outages, so fairly used to it nowadays. So at this point in my life, I'm like, yeah, well, it'll happen. Also, it's kind of like nothing's perfect, so none of the grids are perfect, so we will have this problem. But yeah, but then there are other parts of the world that are just like you're not back to power yet. You don't run everything on XYZ gas or some other part. It's like no, we're electricity and we're hydroelectricity, and so with us we have to like store it. So we can't just like in the winter, at least not everywhere, but we can't in the winter be like, well, bring up a bunch of like, well, let's go get more power, because like what happens? But like, cause that's the thing. That's what people I like. That's a legit concern that people have. They're like, well, what happens when there's no sun, there's no snow, there's no sun, there's no wind for like stretches of time. A few days. Like, what do? You just have no power for a few days? Like, what happens? Like, there was that thing in California where like California was like had this like proud like look at us, we're great. We ran 100% on renewable energy, and everyone was kind of like, oh great, whatever. That sounds so great, so cool. But then somebody looked into it and it was like, yeah, for literally 1 second you ran on renewable energy. But the headlines can say, well, California did it. They ran on renewable energy. Look at California. They did it. But not look into the fact that, well, yeah, but they did it for one. Ah! Crap. Oh, crap. There you go. For exactly 1 second. 1 sec. Ooh. 1 second. Like, excuse me? Sorry. I stopped this. Yes, like, for 1 second. So, come on. But they can just say that, so. That's the thing with renewable energy. Alright, for renewable energy, what do? Right? It's like, I mean, that's the thing. People have said, the experts have said, the people say, the best energy is nuclear energy. If you do it properly, nuclear energy is the best way to do anything. And yeah, it probably is. Problem is, if you don't, it goes catastrophically, horribly, terribly wrong. And you get that power plant in Japan, and you get Chernobyl. So, so let me just check if this will actually charge all this phone. So let me disconnect. I have to disconnect this. I'll be disconnect this for a few minutes. Maybe I'll actually be done soon. I don't know, but I can't turn it on actually, can I? I don't think I can. But why is it like coming on and off? The screen will go on and then go off. Yes. Okay, it's actually charged. But the problem is I can't turn it I can't turn it on though. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. How am I supposed to turn it on though? Because I can charge this phone, but I can't turn it on. What the heck? Oh, I'm gonna do this. So yeah, it's like, how am I supposed to chart? This is weird. How am I supposed to turn it on though? Right? That's weird. How am I supposed to turn it on? Look at that, the last thing you saw. Let's change pictures to this. So I'm not just seeing that. And we're going to kill the webcam. There. So, I don't know. That's my opinion on the problem with that stuff. With like wind and all that energy. Also, to make that, yeah, but you know, you have to sacrifice this to do that. No, what I've heard, now I'm not, you know, an expert on this, but from what I've heard, right, it's just as bad, if not worse, that it's just as bad, if not worse, to right, just to get these things like no, now you're getting okay, now you're getting crazy. Sorry, but yeah. So no, now you're getting crazy. Okay, well. Wait, who? So yeah. I think that's gonna be it for now, guys. Though, so I'll give it a minute. So I'm at 1 hour 50 minutes. Or you know what? I might just give it 1 hour 60, so it's 2 hours. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, so. You know what I was thinking too? Right. But thinking of all those like, what do you call them? What are they called? They're like creator stuff, and like, one of the things that I heard was Beast Burgers. Not great. Not a great thing. Kind of crap. Kind of blech. Kind of whatever. Because Beast Burgers were set up as a like ghost meal thing, and because they were set up as a ghost kitchen thing, where just any I was trying to say studio. Nope. Any restaurant could become a seller of Beast Burgers. It varied, and they were like, it's okay. Everyone talked about like, oh, this is really good. Like, you being paid to say that, or are you friends with this person? But then when the actual burger like uh, Beast Burger like restaurant came out, people went to it and were like, yeah, this is good. That's really good. Kind of still like decent, but not like mediocre. Not on the low end, more on the higher end of like this is good. So there's that, and then there's Prime, right? And then because his chocolate bar was actually really good, and everyone's like, "Wow, this is good. Wow, this is actually really good." Not that he created himself, but just was like really good. So so that's what I've heard. Like Prime is not good. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like, oh, okay. So like that. So it's Beast Burgers, and then Prime was like not. Wow, wow. Prime wasn't great. Like it's okay. I think it was just because of who he was, who Logan Paul was, and KSI are. There are these people like. It's another one of those things where the dude could have sold you anything and children would have bought it. Dude could have sold pet rocks and people would have bought it. Kids would have bought it. Figured out how to buy it. So that's why I feel like it was the biggest thing ever. No, because I've seen actually a few people like review it and just like drink it and be like, it's okay. Like it's good, but it's just kind of okay. Like you have to really wow me, right? So so you know, I've also been playing a few like baseball games and such, like sports games. Like over the years, I played basically every kind of sports video game, and I realized I like hockey, especially if you go. My favorite's 2005 hockey. I just played it a lot as a kid, so maybe that's why I like it a lot. NHL 2K5 on PS2. I love um, and I'm okay with baseball, but soccer, I'm not. I never got into like foot. Never got into like FIFA. Football, like American football, not really. I've actually been playing some Tecmo Bowl with on Switch Switch Online. It's a decent game, and I like basketball, like the NBA 2K series. That's pretty good. But other than so like I've been doing that, and it's like it's not horrible. I just don't really care. They're not my sports. They're not my sport games. So yeah, yeah. So I've heard it's kind of okay, like Prime and all that. Prime, yeah. It's like it's okay. So yeah, I think it's gonna be it for now, guys. So I think that's gonna be it. No, adios, mi amigos. I think it's gonna be done for now. So.